Welcome to Sauk Valley Media's Pigskin Primer for Week 6 of the high school football season. I'm Sports Editor Dan Waisner, along with Assistant Sports Editor Christopher Heimerman, and we are at EM Bud Cole Field in Morrison, side of this week's game of the week between the Amboy Clippers and the Morrison Mustangs. You know, a real big, important battle in the Big Rivers race, especially for Amboy, who's, trying to keep pace with the Newman Comets. Both are undefeated at this point. We had a couple big games last week. One of them involved the Morrison Mustangs, who, were upset by kind of the upstart Erie Prophetstown Panthers in Erie. Late touchdown by Zach Inskeep gave the Panthers a win, 29-28. Now the Mustangs kind of have to recover. Got another tough test this week with Amboy. The other big game would be EPC, really controlling a game against Lena Winslow, who's ranked number 2 in 1A. I think a lot of us felt that, EPC hadn't been tested yet. Weren't sure they, passed the test against Lee Win, and instead, they come out with flying colors, and I expect later today we'll find EPC in the 2A poll. Christopher, your thoughts on these games and others?
Well, Erie Prophetstown, definitely a team that's picked its moments to surprise us, but EPC, we knew they were going to be strong, but absolutely, Lena Winslow is a beast in 1A, so good for them moving to 5-0 on the season so far. And as for Erie Prophetstown, chatting with Zach Inskeep after the game, I mean, he's a fun kid to be around, and you get the feeling that team is capable of great things, and Lord knows Zach is, and he talked about just how big it was to win that game on homecoming on their home field and stun the Morrison Mustangs, who, like you mentioned, now they got to turn around and hardly chop liver with 5-0 Amboy coming into town. And that's our game of the week. And we look at the last couple of weeks. 2 weeks ago we had Sterling Rochelle, a bit of a rout for the Hubs, and last week we had Newman against Riverdale, and Newman just absolutely handed it to him, 53-6. So this week, our game of the week, I absolutely promise this one's going to deliver, folks. An undefeated Amboy Clippers team coming to Bud Cole Field to take on the Mustangs. And it's hard to think about this. If Amboy comes in here and manages to pull off a victory, we're looking at a 500 defending 2A state champion. So obviously a lot on the line for both of these teams. I personally haven't seen Amboy so far this season, but it seems as though they've gotten it together some weeks and really stuck it to some teams. Other weeks they've let teams hang around that probably didn't have any business hanging around. That was the case last week against the Kewanee team that hasn't exactly jumped off the paper so far this year. So kind of an unknown yet with Amboy. I'm looking forward to seeing them.
Well, you look at Amboy, I think 4 out of their 5 wins have been by 2 touchdowns or less. Most of those games have come down to the wire. And so, they could easily be 3-2 just like Morrison at this point if the ball bounces a different way here or there. One of those games was against Erie Prophetstown. It was pretty close for most of the game. Amboy scored a late touchdown to pull away. It's no surprise what Amboy is going to do. Under Tank Jones, they're going to run the ball, and they're going to run the ball some more, and when they get tired, they're going to run the ball again. So if Morrison can stop the run, and we know they have the defense to compete probably with anybody in the state. If they can stop the run, Amboy's going to be in trouble scoring points. But the Clippers have a good defense too. So I'm looking at a low-scoring game, one that might be decided in the last drive, field goal, maybe a touchdown.
Sounds like you might be ready to make a bold prediction. What do you think?
I like Amboy. I think they might have just a little more than the Mustangs this year, but it's going to be like 18-16. I think it's going to be very, very close.
Yeah, I'm on the other side. We'll agree to disagree. I think Morrison, it's an absolute gut check moment for a team that has an awful lot of pride. I think they're going to come out and find a way to win this one. Again, a one-score game. I'm going 20-14 in the favor of the Mustangs. I think if Amboy can find a way to sprinkle in a pass here and there with an athlete like Tyson Powers, I think they can tip the scales. But I'm going with the Mustangs.
All right, well, if you can't make the game Friday night, make sure you check out online Saturday morning. We'll have video highlights and interviews. And now we'll send it back to the office where the other guys will talk about some of the other big games this week.
See you out there, folks.
Hey everybody, this is Sauk Valley Media sports reporter Larry Brennan, taking a look at the Week 6 matchup between LaSalle Peru and Dixon, 7:30 Friday night at AC Bowers Field in Dixon. LaSalle Peru brings in a mark of 1-4. Dixon is winless, 0-5 thus far. The teams have 3 common opponents to this point, those being Rochelle, Yorkville, and United Township. LP beat United Township 41-21 in Week 2. Dixon fell to United Township 21-20 in Week 1. Last week I got the chance to see LaSalle Peru go against Sterling in LaSalle. Quarterback Zach Sonato for LaSalle Peru is a very good player. In that game he had 195 yards passing and 41 yards rushing. LP gave Sterling fits in that contest last week and lost 28-21 in the final minute. This week against Dixon, I am going to take LaSalle Peru to earn a 28-14 win.
This is Ty Reynolds, reporter for Sauk Valley Media, here to preview the Rock Falls Stillman Valley game on Friday night in Hinders Field. It's a tale of two different offenses in this game. Winnebago likes to run the ball. They have 3 rushers with more than 350 yards on the ground and 5 touchdowns each. Rock Falls is the opposite. They've thrown for over 1,400, almost 1,500 yards this year with Jacob Mamosher. I think it will be a battle of which offense can establish and dictate the tempo in this game. I believe Rock Falls would like to get into a shootout if possible, if they can run their passing game very well and score quickly. Stillman Valley is going to have to, do a good job of keeping Rock Falls' offense off the field by moving the ball on the ground. I think that both teams have a really good chance of putting up some pretty good points here, but I don't know if Rock Falls is going to have enough to handle Stillman Valley's ability to run out the clock. I think that Stillman Valley will beat Rock Falls 41-28.
This is Brian Weidman, reporter for Sauk Valley Media. I'm here to talk about the Streeter at Sterling game on Friday night at 7:30 at Roscoe Eads Field. Streeter is 0-5 this season, 0-1 in the conference. The Bulldogs are not very good this season. They've been outscored 187-26. They have lost 23 games in a row. Their last win was the last game of the 2009 season. They won by forfeit over Ottawa. Their last win actually on the field was against Woodstock North in Game 6 that season. Streeter lost to Sterling last season by a score of 49-6. All the games the last several years have been lopsided. I don't really see this season being a whole lot different. I predict a win for Sterling by a score of 56-6.